If anybody shut that game off in the fourth quarter thinking they weren't going to come back and win, boy, you missed a great ending of that game. It was absolutely awesome, right? And it was devastating for the Broncos, right? Can they come back and overcome what happened to them, right? Their defense was playing great for three quarters, and all of a sudden that fourth quarter, it fell apart. So look, Denver defense is getting better every week, and I know that they fell apart in the fourth quarter, but for the most part, they held the Chiefs down, right? And the Chiefs looked average at best, and they held them down. The running game is really good for Denver this year. You know, they've got those two good running backs. You know, there's some speed, there's some power back there, and they're mixing those guys up quite well, and the running game's getting... So I really like what the Broncos are doing. They're not there yet. You know, I'm not crazy about their quarterback, but look, they're getting better on a week-in, week-out basis, and their defense should be getting better, right? They've got the horses to do well. The Jets, on the other hand, look, besides dominating week one against the Lions, this team hasn't been very good, right? Sam Darnold, I think one day, you know, might be the man, but for right now, he's just a 20-year-old kid, 21-year. He does not look good, right? He hasn't been great. There aren't any playmakers on offense. Their defense is good, you know, nothing to write home about. But there's nothing spectacular. I know they got a good, strong safety there, but nothing great. Nothing pops out. You know, look, it's going to be hard for me to say that they'll win a game against the Broncos, meaning the Jets, right? Because I know the Broncos are coming back. I feel they're going to come back angry from last Monday night's loss and have something to prove, right? They're 2-2. They're not out of it, and they're going to win this week. If they can win this week, they'll be 3-2. They're still going to be in it. With this game playing even right now in New York, I'm going to take the Broncos. So the Broncos are going to be my pick this week.
Did you see that even money?
Yeah, saw it at even money.
Okay, cool. Because I saw that. I saw that Broncos -1, so that's cool. Yeah, you know, the Jets have really underachieved. That first game was a little bit more fluky than anything. They got a pick six against Matt Stafford against the Lions, and then Darnold was hitting some ridiculous passes to them that obviously didn't prove to be consistent, right? So, you know, I definitely can't argue with you. The only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it's a shortened week for Denver, I guess, a little bit of a shortened week. So, you know, I see this game at about a pick 'em, but definitely not going to talk you out of that one. The Jets, they still have a lot of issues to figure out then. And I'll tell you this, man, Chubb and you know that Broncos defense, they looked really good against Kansas City. You know, Kansas City scored as much as they could, but they had a fight for everything. You know,
yes,
it was really shocking. So I definitely see what you're coming through there. I'm going to go to Seattle with this next one, my friend. The Los Angeles Rams take on the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle is getting 7 points, over-unders at 50. So another division rivalry game this weekend, but one team is on the up and up, and one team is on the down. The Rams are second in the league in passing with 363 yards per game and 7 in rushing and 125, right? They lead the league in efficiency, and it's not even close. On the other side, Seattle's defense has been stepping up when it's needed. You know, it's got a W at home against the Cowboys and last week against the Cardinals. The problem with Seattle is that they faced some very easy competition, right? And they still rank second to last at 196 yards per game, passing the ball and only 106 rushing. The Seahawks should not have won last week due to a Cardinals missed field goal. And even worse, Earl Thomas broke his leg, and he is out for the season, their best secondary. To add more punishment to the pain, Michael Kendricks, their strong side linebacker, was suspended by the NFL for securities fraud and insiders trading. So the Seahawks will have to rely on rookie Shaquem Griffin this game. They currently have one of the best defenses in the NFL with Aaron Donald. The Rams do, that is. He's been going nuts, throwing people around like rag dolls, man. The guy's an absolute beast. They rank 8th in defense and will show better after playing the Seahawks. Looking at Seattle's injury report, this team is in some major troubles. Major. Carson's still out. Baldwin's highly questionable. If you look at these schedules, it's pretty obvious that the Rams have had much harder offensive competition than the Seahawks. Plus, I love how the Rams have had 10 days now to prepare for Russell Wilson. This should be a 10-point spread, in my opinion. I don't see Seattle moving the ball. Rams -7 all day.
Wow. Did you read my mind here? Because I have it was another game that I was looking at as well, right? And I go, all right, the Rams are going to the Seahawks, right? And boy, there's a lot of things going on with the Hawks. Last week they pulled out that push for me when they kicked that field goal at the end. But it's just like you're saying, they lost Earl Thomas. Their defense has been really good, right? But they lost their best player. The other player that for insider trading, they picked him up a couple weeks ago. How much was he doing? It was, whatever. They needed a body in there. But yeah, they lost another body, okay? This team doesn't have any playmakers on offense. There's nothing. And their offensive line is making Russell run for his life, right? Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very difficult for them to keep this up all year long, week after week. Now we're going into week 5, their 5th game, right? Now these guys' injuries are starting to pile up. Now they're not going to be able to move the ball because they're not going to be as fresh. Wilson's taking a beating. Now we're going to look at the Rams on the other end. They're scoring at will. They just beat up the Vikings a couple weeks ago, right? They put up 38 points against a very good Vikings defense, supposed to be good defense, right? They've struggled a little bit this year. But with that said, it's still a good team. They're going to have 10 days off. You mentioned that already. They're scoring at will, right? Mm-hmm. They're rested. They're going up to Seattle, and I know it's supposed to be a hard place to play, but I could see them scoring pretty quick, right? They've scored pretty quick. I don't think any fan is going to be left there to cheer for them, okay? I would lay 12. I would lay 13 points because I feel the Rams are just going to go in there and blow them out. They're still a young team. They still want to prove something. It's not their old veteran team. They haven't won anything yet. And they're playing on such high energy right now with such confidence. I could see this team blowing them out quick and early and getting up to a 20, 21-point lead, coasting the rest of the way, and still winning by 14 points. So I'm laying that 7 all week long. I'm 100% with you.
Absolutely. Russell Wilson's amazing, and he can only do so much. So really glad you're on my side on this. He's going to get tired, and this game should be over by the 3rd quarter. Loving this pick.
Yeah.
So I'll go next since you already had this one. Indianapolis versus New England. New England's laying 10 points at home. It's this Thursday game. Glutton for Thursday games 2 weeks in a row, right? Over under. Yeah. But over under's at 51.5. Now, the Patriots found their groove last week spreading out the ball. They threw it to guys like Cordell Patterson, huge athlete. Chris Hogan a little bit. Josh Gordon got some action. And obviously Gronk, which Gronk's a little bit banged up, but, he's got a good shot at playing. Gronk, he works his way in as long as nothing's broken. This week, they get Julian Edelman back, which makes it an even scarier thing to go up against this offense. On the other side of the coin, the Patriots defense is giving up a lot of yards too, 347 yards per game. The Colts are giving up 377 yards per game. This game's all about the injury report, though, for the Colts. The Colts are missing their best linebacker, Darius Leonard, and he's very doubtful to play this game, being in a walking boot on Monday. And there are also 3 cornerbacks, starting cornerbacks on the Colts that did not participate in Monday's practice, and now 2 of the right cornerbacks are out. The first string and the second string, Kenny Moore and Quincy Nelson. Safety Clayton Geathers is also very questionable for them. Even if Leonard can play, he's less than 80%. The Patriots should be able to score at will, very easily against this hobbled second-rate defense. New England ranks 10th in yards per point at 14.2, even with a bad start. The Colts are actually right under them at 14.3, and I know T.Y. Hilton's banged up, but there's still some good weapons on the Colts here with Eric Ebron at tight end, right? Ryan Grant, Chester Rogers at wide receiver. Naheem Hines has been killing it at running back, ripping it up, man. Even with Marlon Mack out, they've been doing some pretty good on offense. So due to the offensive passing power of these teams, I think they're going to drive this score way up. So I have two plays in this game. I have the over 51.5 for that banged up defense New England's going against. And New England's defense was pretty bad against the pass themselves. And I'm taking the Patriots minus 10. I got it 35-21 Patriots.
Okay. All right. I'm always scared with Patriots, right? I'd say it every week. It's not that I dislike them. I feel like they're going to fall off the cliff every single week, and I've been saying that for 10 years. It doesn't mean I bet with them.
Yeah, but I was actually more on the Colts in the beginning of the week. I was like 10. The Patriots has not been playing that good. Then I see who the Patriots are getting back, and then I see a completely, freshman type secondary playing for the Colts. That is terrible news. And their best pass rushers out. That's 4 to 5 points on the spread right there. That's where I had to completely switch and be like, wow, this is a perfect spot for the Patriots. So that's when I had to switch it up. So
and I think, and part of that for me is I have zero confidence in the Colts. They've got one guy, right, Andrew Luck, and everybody loves to say how great he is, and I'm always like, okay, all right, there's a lot of guys I'd rather have out there, but there's one guy, right, and he scores them some points. But can he cover the 10? I don't know. I love your bet. What I'm saying is I love your bet. I like it, and I'm going to really consider it coming up this weekend as well.
Awesome, my man. What do you have next on the docket?
All right. Tennessee's going to go to Buffalo this weekend, and the line right now is 3.5. Titans are giving 3.5 points. Look, I think Tennessee's quietly having a good start to the season. They beat the Jags, who I really like a lot. I think they're the best team in the AFC, but that's me. And their first loss came against the Dolphins. Now, I'm not sold on Mariota being an elite quarterback. There's something missing with him, right? So he does some good things, and then he doesn't do some good things, and then he gets hurt, and then he's really good, and people are like, yeah, he's awesome, and then he's like, oh, okay, just an average game. I don't know. There's something missing with the guy, right? I feel like he's a play away from getting hurt constantly. The defense also with the Titans, their defense is not doing that bad either. I think they're doing a pretty good job. Are they one of the teams that I would go into and play them as a opposing player? Would I be scared of them? I wouldn't. Okay, but again, they're playing the Bills this week, right? And I think it's going to help them build here for the rest of the season going forward. So they're sitting at 3-1 right now. They win, they're going to be at 4-1, right? So I think there's some motivation here. Buffalo won their Super Bowl 2 weeks ago, right, when they absolutely demolished the Vikings. I don't think anyone won a bet with the Bills and the Vikings. I don't think nobody won. If you took the Bills, you must have been drinking and you made a bet by mistake, right? And when you woke up the next day and said, oh my goodness, I won this, because they looked that bad, right? So look, they still have the rookie quarterback. Their offensive line is banged up. It's which direction are they going in, and it's not going up, right? And I don't think anybody at all, unless you're a hardcore Homer fan, is going to look at the Bills and saying, you want to know what? There's something here to build on, right? So it's only minus 3.5, right? And they got shut out last week, and Josh Allen isn't playing well, right? And I think the Titans have some confidence here, and I think their coach is going to keep them motivated to move forward and to win that next game and to get to the next level. Look, do I think they can win by more than a field goal? Yeah, I do, right? I could see them putting up 7 to 10 more points than the Bills. I have zero confidence in the Bills scoring, and that Vikings game was almost like a, oops, we got the ball again, right? Oops, we scored again, right? So I'm going to take this is going to be an easy pick for me. I'm going with the Titans this week at minus 3.5.
Yeah, at 3.5, I ran this game through my algorithm, and I got to 3.9 by the Titans. The only thing that kind of held it back was the Titans, kind of their lack of scoring here, and I keep worrying about their pass catchers, but that it just doesn't seem to matter for them, and so I definitely see what you're saying here. I'm leaning that way. I'm trying to see if it gets bet down by some crazy people out there. It's if you look at the if you look at the line here, and I'm actually pulling it up here. There's 72% of the tickets are on Tennessee and 79% of the money's on Tennessee. So apparently there's two